There we are. We're live on YouTube. My Facebook Live did not work today, so we're hoping that the YouTube Live does. I always go live on Facebook for my Creation Nation for my online students and families, and then I've been doing the YouTube one for I think since fall for my in-person families. And so hopefully YouTube Live will work for me today. It's not morning, but I am still on my first pot of coffee because it's Monday and it's President's Day. We've got classes going on right now for our homeschool students. And so if you hear any background noise, normally when I am live with you guys, there's nobody here. But today there are things happening. So I try to pick a time in between classes while they're working and nobody needs me, but hopefully it goes out well. For those of you who've been around long enough, we used to do live videos in the summertime. We might go back to that. That was really fun. We did live videos every single day at 11 o'clock in the summertime and did little tutorials and invitations and processes and things that you could try at home to inspire you to make art at home. And anyways, the point of that story is at 11 o'clock in the studio, things are always happening. And it was always really, it gave you a good sense of what it was like to be here because there were people coming and going and talking and kids running up and good things. So you can check out those on our Facebook page sometime. We're going to talk about all the things that are happening in our in-studio classes this week. It's going to be a little bit confusing, so bear with me. We got to talk about multimedia. We got to talk about drawing. We got to talk about sewing. We got to talk about fundamentals. And what's going to make it confusing is we had a snow day last week. So not only are our Monday classes a week behind because the month didn't start till Tuesday, but now our Thursday classes are also a little bit behind because they didn't have classes last week. So we're going to talk through that kind of stuff. So hang tight. If your Monday classes, you can watch last week's video to give you an idea of what your kids are doing this week, right? Because like I said, the month started on a Tuesday, which is always really, really confusing. So you're actually wrapping up week 3 today. They're doing collagraph printing right now. I can hear Miss Liz giving a printmaking demonstration. So they're doing collagraph printing, and they're going to be doing that in week 4 as well. But just to wrap up, but they're getting just their intro to it today, which was a week 3 thing. So Monday people, you are doing week 3. My Thursday people, which we had some multimedia classes that meet on Thursday and some drawing classes that meet on Thursday nights, as well as some fundamental classes, I guess, that also meet on Thursdays. You guys, we've got a plan in place for you to come and do a makeup. So hopefully you got that email. Some of you are coming on a Wednesday night at a specific time to do an actual makeup class. Some of you are making reservations and coming on Wednesday night at some point in time just to kind of get some more work time and to get that to get caught up so that by the time you make it to Thursday, we're ready for week 4. And then like my fundamentals, we just took the whole class and moved you to Thursday because we had nothing going on this week anyway. Okay. If you're not sure about that because you're like, well, I was in class or I was supposed to be in class last Thursday and there was a snow day and I have no idea what's going on, you need to shoot me a message so that we can tell you what is the decision for your class. It was a very case-by-case basis based on what you needed to accomplish in that class or in that lesson and what we had available. So like drawing students, we wanted you to actually be able to come in and be with your class and get the lesson all at the same time. There's a lot of community and critiquing that happens in drawing classes. So everybody being at the same time is really good. Whereas like my multimedia classes, really all they're doing is work time. It's just work time to get that collagraph built, to get that, block, that lino block cut, those kinds of things. So they just needed more work time. So they can come in anytime during those Wednesday makeup sessions. And then my fundamentals, we just took your whole class and threw it on Thursday. So like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, check your emails first. And then if you still don't know, reach out to me so that I can help you out with that. Okay. But let's talk through, for those of us who are on track, let's talk through what's going on in week 4. So this is our last week of February classes. Our March classes will begin next Tuesday, March 1st. There are very, very, very few openings in those classes. So if you grabbed one, lucky you. If you're on the wait list, watch your inbox and if you send it for text, watch your text. Because we did get a couple cancellations over the weekend for current students. We usually ask that current students let us know by the 20th. So this is that time where we start to figure out who's not coming back next month because baseball started or soccer practice interferes or whatever. And then we're going to pull from those wait lists. So you might see an email today or first thing tomorrow as I work through all of those and try to get people spots and fit people in. And then there are, just kind of a background, there are people who are on the wait list for a class, but they're in another class because this was their first choice over here. So what happens is we move them, and then that opens a spot over here. And then, so there's a lot of communication that has to happen. So if you're on a wait list and you're waiting for a spot, just know that you might be getting something from us today, tomorrow, or even Wednesday. Hopefully by Wednesday, I have it all figured out. And then that way we can get all the supplies ordered and things for March's mixed media classes and all of the curriculum that's happening. All right, let's talk about what's going on in classes. Yeah, let's drink some coffee. All right, let's start multimedia. I brought very few things to show today because a lot of what I've been showing, we've just been working on. So K1 and are doing their mono prints. We demonstrated jelly printing in week 1, so you could kind of see what that looks like. And then last week we demonstrated the printmaking and the embossing technique, the brayering of the block printing ink, and then putting on the embossing powder and doing it with heat gun. So if you didn't check that out, definitely do. That's pretty awesome. A lot of our K1ers, they got to do that step last week. So in week 3, they've actually gotten through their entire project. Not everybody, but a good portion. So they're going to be finishing that up. And for those kids that are done with that, we'll get to explore different printmaking stations, because I hope one thing you've realized in watching these videos for my multimedia students and parents is printmaking is a lot of different things. It can be block printing, it can be mono printing, it can be screen printing, which we don't even have a project that teaches screen printing, but we do have screens. And so we're going to have the screens out. We're going to have different blocks that K1s can carve with pencils, because we won't give them the sharp cutting tools. We're going to have stamps for them. We're going to have more opportunities to play with those brayers and with the ink and with the paint and make more mono prints, and just an opportunity to explore how big printmaking can be and just to make some art. So depending on your kiddo, they may come home with armfuls of printed things this week, just because it is kind of a station and exploration that they get to do this week once they finish their project. So that's what's kind of your K1ers are doing. Your second and third graders are building their collagraphs, which that project takes longer than what the K1ers had, right? It's because they've got a lot of scissor skills and a lot of building up their own printing plate. So a lot of them are still working on that and are hopefully ready to print this week, because it is the last week. It is week 4. So our goal is to get everybody through the printing process. I went back and I looked in the closet to see if there were any I could grab, and none of Liberty's second, third grade classes have printed, as far as I can tell. Those are some pretty clean collagraphs. They have not been printed. So this week will really be focused on printing. Now, the one thing about printing is it is not a foolproof thing. So you're going to roll that ink on that collagraph plate, and you're going to stick your paper down. You're going to rub on top of it with a Baron, and you're going to pull it up. And maybe it's a good print. Maybe it's not. And that happens. And that's fine, because we just throw that away and you print another one. And it may take 3 or 4 times of printing before they get a piece of art that they're like, yes, that's what I had in mind. That it didn't have too little ink. It didn't have too much ink. It didn't make right. So there's a lot of variance in order to get a good print and one that they really like. So you might have somebody that comes home with nothing because they just couldn't get it the way they wanted it to. And they need to come in and either on a Wednesday night or early before class next week or something to pull that print. So if you can come to a makeup to finish that print, if your kiddo wanted more time to do that because they just weren't satisfied with their print, they're welcome to make a reservation and come in on a Wednesday. And then if that doesn't work, reach out to me and we will figure out another time, because we're here a lot and it's not that big of a deal. It's not going to take very long. Especially by then, they're probably experts at cleaning their area and rolling their print and going through the process. They probably need very little from us. And we're happy to get them set up so that they can work through it and come up with a piece of original art that they really love. So just second and third grade parents, be aware of that. Our K1 process, because of the relief that they had, and it didn't have a lot of detail in it, chances are when they pulled their print, they were thrilled with it. They were like, cool, this is fun. done. But your second and third graders had a complicated project, so they might take a little bit more time, and they might need additional studio time for that. So that's what they're doing. And similar to K1s, when they finish their print, we'll have stations set up this week for them to be able to explore all the printing, because they didn't get to play on jelly plates. They didn't get to do mono printing. They didn't get to do screen printing because there's, printmaking is only 4 weeks, unfortunately. So we'll have all of that stuff out for them to be able to explore. Our 4th and 5th and our middle school, high school multimedia classes have been carving. Now, they are the ones that get the sharp tools, and they've got these pieces of soft cut, which is a synthetic linoleum. It's a little bit easier to cut. It's kind of an eraser texture. You can see how flexible it is. And they use these carving tools to remove the areas that they don't want to print. So whereas my second and third graders are building up layers to make their own stamp, my 4th and 5th and middle school, high school, they're carving away layers, and they're leaving the positive space. They're carving away the negative space. So you can see this is one adorable stamp from 4th and 5th on, I think this is Monday night's 4th and 5th class. Isn't that so cute? Can you tell it's a little cow? So their goal was something very pop art, and they're going to print this in a quadrant. So if we think of like Andy Warhol, so she'll actually have 4 little cows on her final print. And if you thought printing one collagraph really well was hard, wait till you try to print 4 things on one piece of paper and make all 4 of them look good. Because you'll get like 2 of them done, and then the third one has a smudge, or 2 of them done, and then or 3 of them done, and the 4th one didn't have enough ink on it. So again, there could be a process where they're like, nope, still not good. And they'll pull it away because they're learning printmaking. Carving is one skill. Printing is another. So they're going to start their printing process this week as well. As soon as they're done carving, they might print this and find out that some of these ridges are not removed enough. And so they're going to have to carve away some more to get it a little bit lower. So they'll work on this process and getting a really great print for them. And we have a bunch of different ink colors for them to work with so that they can actually get kind of that Warhol-esque picture. Okay. So that's what's coming up for 4th and 5th and middle school, high school multimedia classes. They are that Thursday night. So my Thursday, there's obviously a Monday one too, but the Thursday classes, that's a lot of those older kids who are carving. So they might need additional time, and please come in on Wednesday this week. And if you can, we're staffing up. We're getting more instructors in here. Miss Liz will be here to teach drawing class. I will be here. Miss Grace will be here. I know Plattwoods is staffing up as well. Like, we all know that everybody missed their class last week. So, Wednesdays are usually only makeup nights. And, when it's not COVID times, we usually have like 2 or 3 kids here, but now we're planning on lots of kids, even more so. So I was telling, side note, so makeups are Wednesday nights, and they've been Wednesday nights since we opened in 2014. And typically Wednesday nights are super chill. We get like 2 to 4 kids that roll in at some point in time in that 3-hour stretch. We get a lot of side work done. Like, we do some party prep that night. We hang out with our favorite kids that come in for additional time because they just, are slow at working on projects. My daughter is one of them, who was always here on a Wednesday night. But it's super chill. But then when COVID hit, our Wednesday nights have become so insane. We've added instructors. We had, 13 to 16 kids coming for makeups because we have so many missed classes. And so we have peaked and we're back on the way down. So just in case anyone was ever curious, our attendance was, real bad month of January and beginning of February. And we're starting to see those number of absences drop in classes, and our kids are coming back more consistently. We'll have, a whole night where everybody's here, and I'm like, what is this? Everybody's in class tonight, as opposed to 75% attendance. And so it's really great to see you guys back in classes and everyone's healthy and being able to do their routines and not be in quarantine or isolation or any of that. So we love that. And I think we only had like 3 kids sign up for makeups last week, which is crazy. I told Akira, it's like, this is what it's usually like, because she came in, she was hired, during 2021. So she hasn't seen it any other way. So we're super excited that we're starting to see kind of it level out a little bit. That was just a side note. Let's go through drawing stuff. So it is the end of this portraiture unit, and we're putting it all together. So we did drawing ourselves. We did drawing a friend. We did blind contour last week, which some kids loved and some kids hated. If your kids are in drawing class, be sure to ask them. This week, we're trying to put it all together, but we're going to work in color or charcoal. So the kids will get 2 options on whether they want to do a color portrait or they want to do kind of a harsh, high contrast charcoal portrait. So we'll give them the choice and they can really show off their skills. So super fun with our portraiture unit. And we're pretty excited because we're gonna move on next month to something equally as challenging. And we're going to work on figure. So that is not just the head, but the person of it's like the body of a person. So a lot of that is learning proportions, and we'll talk about that all next week. I love figure, you guys. My college honors art show was all figure drawing. Love figure. People are my favorite. Well, I have lots of favorites, but that's one of them. Okay. Let's go through sewing. Let's see what the sewing kids are doing. They're super fun. Look, I pulled one. I just pulled the top one. These cute little pillows. So we talked about their composition and their stitching that they had to do, kind of this real loose applique. But then what they're doing now and is working on kind of some details. And see, this one's not done, but this is how they're saving all their they've made these adorable little pom-poms. And getting things attached to the pillow to finish it up. They'll do maybe a little bit of embroidery. And then I think I mentioned last week that they're going to learn that hidden ladder stitch to get this closed so that you don't see the seam. So, and the pom-poms won't stay in here. That's just where we're keeping them so we know whose they are. So these will be finished this week. And then I wish I could remember what the kids are doing after that. You want me to look it up for you? What are we sewing in March? It's not rainbow totes. I don't think. Let's find out though. Okay, I'm gonna look it up for you. Artful sewing. Spring. It is. Oh, it's the Lucky Clover tote bag. So I have to find a picture of that because it's super cute. It's got this rainbow strap on it and a little 4-leaf clover kind of applique on the front, and it's a canvas tote bag for the kids to make. Very super awesome St. Patrick's Day tote bag. Anyways, that was a really cute project. Miss Liz did that. I think it's probably our second year doing it, I think. But it was a super popular one last year, so the kids will be making those this year. I love it. Okay, moving along. So that's sewing. And then fundamentals classes. Listen very carefully. If you were in fundamentals classes, my Monday group met today. So that's Plattwoods because Liberty doesn't have a Monday's fundamentals. My Tuesday people, you do not have class. Do not come to class. It is an off week, right? Because we only meet 3 times and then we're off. So this is the off week. We start March classes next week. Don't come to class. My Thursday group, normally you wouldn't have class either, but because we had a snow day, you come to class this week. We're going to do week 3. So you can go watch last week's video and find out what we're doing. And then my Friday people, you're in the same boat as Tuesday. It's off week. Don't come. Don't come. We won't be here. Well, we will because we have a staff meeting, but don't come. Okay. So normally I could just be like, nobody come to class this week, preschoolers. But because of the snow day and because of the funky way that the month ran out and started on a Tuesday and all that fun stuff, I kind of have to be a little bit more specific. So yeah, we'll send reminder emails. Same with my toddlers. Same story. Okay. We talked to everybody? I think so. Housekeeping wise, I believe there's just a very, very, very few, maybe 2 spots left over in a few of our spring break camps. If anybody's interested in looking for something fun to do with their kids, it's Plattwoods' Sweet Treats Camp. I can't even remember what day it's on, but one of those days. Go to the special events page on the website. You can find that. And then just a reminder over and over and over again, like a broken record. Summer registration starts March 15th at 9 a.m. March 15th at 9 a.m. There's an early bird coupon. Make sure you have it. And then if you are a studio club member, March 1st, 9 a.m. Okay, you guys get priority registration to go ahead and get in there and grab your spots for your studio club member kids. Now, if you have a sibling is not a studio club member, you can't enroll them. And I know that's like sad. That's because membership is like, it's a logic thing in the system. It's not because I'm like, but the way the system is set up, when you go to register, it'll say members only. And you'll only be able to register that child because the member is tied to the child, not tied to the family. So that's why that is that way. But what I've told my studio club members is if you register child A, who is a studio club member, and then by some weird fluke, by the time we get to the 15th, there's no more spots for child B, we will refund child A. Okay. I don't think that will happen. I really don't. There aren't that many studio club members. I don't think you guys are going to fill every single camp. You're a small group. So, all right. But we'll take care of you. I can't open more spots, but I won't keep your money. Okay. Cool. That's all I got for you. That's it. There's no more housekeeping. I think I posted that there were fall. People have been asking about fall. So if you want to know, fall class schedules usually are posted around the 4th of July. That's about the time Sarah and I get together in June and we start going through, okay, what are we going to do September, October, November, December? And we write out the schedule. We write out the class schedule and all the things. And then we get those posted on the website around the 4th of July so that everybody can see it. And then registration starts August 1st. Okay. And studio club too. So then you can join the studio club. Okay. That's it. That's all I have. That's long enough here on a Monday, which is good because it's about to get busier here in the studio. So y'all have a wonderful rest of your Monday and your week 4 of February. And hopefully we see a bunch of you guys in March. Bye, guys.